The young guys, Joe Burrow and Chase, and it was just so much fun, and that run was amazing. I don't think many people predicted we'd end up in LA, but it was fun. It was fun to end up in LA and go to the game, watching the Super Bowl.
I'm excited to have our next guest here on Couch Conversations. He's an 11-time Pro Bowler, the only Cincinnati Bengal in the NFL, well, not the NFL, but the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Sometimes I get that confused. And even more importantly, he's impacting thousands of people's lives, including my own. Please help us welcome our next guest, Anthony Munoz.
Justin, how you doing? It's good to be with you.
Good. It's been a long time. Thank you for coming.
Well, it has been a long time, and when I got the invite, I said, I got to do this. I got to do this with one of our guys.
Thank you. How have you been?
Doing well. Busy. Things are getting busier. It's one of those things between the foundation, the Hall of Fame, and just a lot of grandkids. So a lot keeping me busy, and I got to get out and play a little golf too. So, doing good.
All right. So before we really dive into your career and what you're doing now with the foundation, what's your thoughts on the Cincinnati Bengals? We just won the AFC Championship. We went to the Super Bowl. What's your thoughts on the future of the team and kind of where they're at now?
Well, first of all, they were so much fun to watch last year. With the young guys, Joe Burrow and Chase, and it was just so much fun, and that run was amazing. I don't think many people predicted we'd end up in LA, but it was fun. It was fun to end up in LA and go to the game, watching the Super Bowl. But I'm really impressed with what they're doing. The main thing about it, you get to a Super Bowl and teams wait to see what's going on, but not the Bengals, man. Right away, they saw a weakness. They saw that Joe was getting hit too much. And they went out and signed 3 linemen, 3 really good linemen. So to me, that is saying they're going in the right direction. They didn't hold off and see what was left at the end of free agency. They addressed it early on. So that gave them the opportunity to really go into the draft and not have to draft a big need,
right.
More depth. And they got some pretty good players. So I've been really impressed with, again, right after the Super Bowl, how they attacked the free agent market and what they've done in the draft.
Awesome. I love the defensive players that they drafted, Let's get the ball back as quick as possible to the offense, It makes sense because our offense is, going to dominate, I think.
I agree. I think we have so many weapons, and the fact that we're trying to solidify that offensive line. Now that creates even more problems, and not only with the passing game, we lose Uzama, we get Hurst. But let's utilize Joe Mixon. He's a pretty good running back. So let's get to a point that we can run the ball when we want to, not when we have to, but when we want to. If we want to pound people and run the football and then throw the ball, that's great. So I'm excited.
Awesome. I agree, man. So what was this last Super Bowl? You got to attend the Super Bowl. Yeah. What was that experience like? Because the last time Cincinnati was in the Super Bowl, you were out there playing on the field.
Well, it was really exciting. I told my wife, I said, I thought I retired, a long time ago because, really the interview requests and stuff, it was really quite a bit in which, I enjoyed doing it. I told my wife, I said, if I'd love to do this every year if the Super Bowl is there for the Bengals. But it was exciting because, our team was the last one to go to the Super Bowl, so there was a lot of talk about, not only the Super Bowl, but really the playoffs initially. Because this was the first team to win a Super Bowl or win a playoff game. And, it's been a long time since we had won a playoff game because I was playing. But not only to win one, they won 3. They won so it was exciting for a lot of us former players because we got to talk about them a lot more, on the media side of it. Like I said, if it means doing a lot of interviews in the postseason because the Bengals are in the playoffs and doing well, I'm all for it.
So you just attended, did you go to the NFL draft?
I did not. I was out there, but I didn't have any responsibilities. Me and a couple Hall of Famers, Darrell Green and Aeneas Williams, have been doing a youth program across the country like the last 7 years.
Okay.
And we actually did 2 or 3 youth summits in Vegas, in Reno. So we were out there and saw all the craziness with all the people out there, but I did not really participate in the draft itself.
A couple of weeks ago, we had Charles Johnson on. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He's local to the Northern Kentucky area, played football at Lloyd High School. He just came on the podcast, and he was speaking about how he didn't even play, high school football till he was a junior in high school. They talked him into it, and then he ended up going to the Vikings,
Right.
Green Bay. He spoke about, the draft and what that felt like to be drafted.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot different than when you were drafted. Now it's like televised and all these crazy events going on. What was it like hearing your name get called at the NFL draft?
I do remember Charles, playing and watching him in the league. It was a lot different. In fact, the crazy thing about it, and you mentioned the being televised and the big production. The year in this, I came out a long time ago now, Justin, but that was the first year that ESPN carried the draft, 1980. But they didn't have all the videos and they didn't fly guys into the site. But it was the first year they televised the draft. I forget, it was a lot of the guys that, were just starting out with ESPN. But basically, my wife and I were in our one-bedroom apartment there at the campus at USC waiting for a hopeful call. Because for a lot of guys are expecting to be drafted. For me, I wasn't sure. Before my senior year, I was projected in the top 5. Then I got hurt in the first game my senior year, and that was my third knee operation in 4 years. So, I missed the entire season. I did rehabilitate and play in the Rose Bowl. But again, it was like from the top 5 pick to maybe a free agent, and a lot of the experts said probably wouldn't even play in the NFL because of the injuries. But from January until April, when the draft took place, I just busted it and got in the best shape possible. We didn't have just one combine back there. We had like 4 or 5 combines. We had like Dallas and New York and Philadelphia and LA. So, I was always the last guy coming out of the medical examination because of all the knee operations. But then the draft rolled around, and like I said, didn't know if I was even going to be drafted. So my expectation was just try to get to a camp however I could. Free agent, maybe a late round pick. And, of course, the Bengals with the 3rd pick in the entire draft decided to draft me. And I guess, my guys there at USC used to give me a hard time because for 4 years – I went through all of summer camp and all of spring practice. But like my freshman year, I got hurt 7 games in the season. My junior year, I get hurt 7 games in the season. And like I just said, I missed my entire senior year. So I guess the Bengals saw something there. And really, I'm sure there was some concern with the injuries, but decided not only to draft me, but with the 3rd pick in the first round. And so I was thankful, and, of course, the rest is history.
So there was no communication with the Bengals during that period?
There really was. They just hired Forrest Gregg as their head coach.
Okay.
They were one of the teams that flew me into Cincinnati. Of course, there was other teams that flew me into their city after the combine.
Okay.
But the Bengals flew me here. They, again, examined me, and then Forrest Gregg actually came out and worked me out for about 2 hours there on the practice field at USC. But even with that, I wasn't sure. They were paying a little more attention than most teams were. Again, the 3rd pick in the draft and not having played my entire season, I'd like to say, man, I was very optimistic that they were going to draft me, but I really didn't know. But the fact that they did come out and work me out, I guess that was a positive thing, and I guess it worked out well. I guess the examination for them flying me in and Forrest Gregg put me through a 2-hour workout really showed that I was capable of continuing to play.
Okay. Do you have any favorite opponents, that you faced off against in the NFL?
Really, every Sunday to me was a challenge, and that was a challenge. Sunday was a chance for me to be at the top of my game and to win a football game. So, I can say that, Cleveland, back then, I talk to young people and say AFC Central, and they're like, wait, what's it? I talk about the Houston Oilers, and, that was before, Houston moved to Tennessee, and then the Titans and Texans.
Right.
So all of that. But, it was a great division. We had Pittsburgh, of course. We had the Cleveland Browns before they moved to Baltimore, the original Cleveland Browns, and the Houston Oilers. And that whole division was a pretty competitive division. Pittsburgh, when I got in the league, they had just come off winning their 4th Super Bowl. So they still had a lot of the steel curtain, a lot of the great players. Cleveland Browns they were very talented offensively and defensively. And of course, Houston had a lot of great players, Earl Campbell and Warren Moon, and on defense they have Elvin Bethea and Robert Brazile, both Hall of Famers, and so it was one of those things that I have to say that not one of the teams was but that whole division was pretty intense. So you had to play your best game every Sunday. And it went that way really league-wide. Just wasn't with the teams you played against in your division, but it was all of them. I mean, the Raiders back there, the Cowboys were unbelievable. And, there was teams that continue to be really good, but then there's, teams, Kansas City, even though they weren't the Chiefs of today, they were always tough defensively. They always had a really good defense. And one of the things that, we talked about the Bengals Super Bowl run was beating them in Kansas City, being down, because even when I was playing, Kansas City was always a tough place to play, and it still is. So the fact that, our Bengals this last year came back from a big deficit and beat them is just, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was. I was not, I was hoping that they would win, but I was not betting that they would win.
Well, especially being
that's
down
a tough
as
team.
far as they were, at halftime. It's like, oh my goodness, they've got their work cut out. And then they came out that second half the same way they did during the regular season game against them. The defense just shut them down, and we just scored. So, but it was fun. It was fun to watch. So, But you're right. If I was a betting man, there's no way I would have bet that they would have come back that second half.
Yeah, McPherson, man.
Oh,
He's one heck of a kicker, ain't he?
Yeah, he really is.
He can boot it through.
He's got the distance. It's funny. I was doing a talk show radio. I was and the guy interviewing me referred to Money Mac as the best all-time kicker for the Bengals. I said, wait. I said, slow down, my friend, slow down. Potentially he has it, but when he surpasses my friend, the all-time leading scorer, who was 9 for 9 in overtime, Jim Breach, then you can say McPherson's all-time leading, all-time best kicker. But right now, I'm going to go with my man, number 3, Jim Breach, as the all-time leading scorer, and see what happens with McPherson in his career here.
There you go. Either way, they're both Bengals
both
for
excellent.
life.
Yep, that's right.
All right, what was it like to play in Synergy Field, Riverfront, on that turf? Because that was a lot different turf than what they make today.
Well, lay a thin carpet out on the road, and that's what it felt like playing at old Riverfront Stadium. I finished my career, and it was still Riverfront. Never had the Synergy, I believe. But no, it was the great thing about it is that the fans were so close. And my career started, okay, but then we got in the Super Bowl my second year, and it's funny because I do a lot, as you know, with my foundation, speak to a lot of kids, and when it's Q&A, they say, don't you wish you had played in the jungle? I said, well, let me just give you a little history lesson. The jungle actually started my second year at Riverfront Stadium, and that was the great thing about it, Justin, is that year we had home field advantage during the playoffs. We played the AFC Championship game there. In fact, both Super Bowl runs, we had the home field advantage. So to play at home in Riverfront Stadium was amazing because it was packed.
Yeah.
And the fans, just like we saw in the Raiders game,
right.
It was pretty electric back then.
I was there. It was crazy.
Oh, it was unbelievable. But and that was a great thing about Riverfront Stadium is that through my career, our run, it was always packed and the fans were always wild. I tell people this is a great sports community.
Awesome. The other day, I'm driving down the street in northern Kentucky, and I get behind this box truck, and I see you on the back of the truck, and I see Ed hanging off the truck. Have you ever been on the interstate or anywhere and seen these furniture fair box trucks with you on the back of them?
I have. It's furniture fair. I see them all the time, but probably the strangest one is we are driving up from Louisville on 71 there, and it's quite a ways from Cincinnati, and I'm driving.
Right.
And I kind of nudged my wife. I said, who's that guy on the truck? It was a furniture fair truck coming up 71 because, they do have a store down in Louisville. And that's, usually I see them in Cincinnati, northern Kentucky. But I've never really seen one down by Louisville, which was kind of strange. But, I still kind of chuckle when I see, myself sitting on that chair and Ed hanging from the door there. It's fun.
That's funny. I was thinking to myself, this has to be like the longest sponsorship or partnership, whatever you call it. You've been doing furniture fair commercials since I was a kid, and that was like. So was fortunate enough to receive your straight A scholarship award from the Munoz Foundation, and I remember they came and interviewed me for something one time, and I was like, well, no, I wasn't young enough to see Anthony play, but I had always known him as, a former Cincinnati Bengal that had always done the furniture fair commercials.
Right, exactly. A lot of young people. There's a furniture guy. But yeah, we started that actually the year I retired. So it's been like 29 years that we've been doing that. It's been a great run. Of course, Ed is an amazing guy. You know, a lot of people think we own the furniture company, but it's the Daniels family. It's a family-owned. Their parents started it back in early 60s. And,
Okay.
so, yeah, it's been a great run. You know, it's been a lot of fun. We've been able to do stores here in Cincinnati, like I mentioned, opened a store in Louisville and up in Dayton and stuff. So they've done extremely well.
Okay. So after retirement, you spent some years commentating football games. At what point, because you could have retired, went into any type of business. At what point did you, the light bulb kind of go off, and you made you want to create the Anthony Munoz Foundation and impact other people's lives?
Well, that's a great point. So first of all, going back a little bit, my last 7 years playing with the Bengals, I did high school football and radio, so I really enjoyed that. Just came out of had a gentleman, invite me to come join them. And I said, yeah, I'd love to. And you know how great football is, Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then when I retired, I had an opportunity. Fox had just gotten the NFL. And so I was hired by Fox their original year. So I did like 3 or 4 years. My final job was with ESPN. And then our kids went off to college. Our son played college football and our daughter played college basketball. And I understood, your leverage and relevance of being a player and starting a foundation. But, as a husband, as a father, as a member of the Bengals, I didn't have enough time to get involved with the foundation. Mm-hmm. So I got involved with other groups. So our kids were like sophomores in college, and I'd been, really putting a mission statement together because I knew once they got ready to graduate, I pretty much sure I wanted to start a foundation. And I started talking to a lot of my friends that were in the corporate world and putting the mission statement together. So it was their sophomore, junior years in college when I decided, okay, I'm going to start it now. A couple years, they'll be graduating, they'll be doing their thing, and then I can pretty much put my full time into the foundation. So in 2002, that's when we started the foundation. Actually, this is our 21st year. And
wow.
So I said, you know what, I'd love to use this platform to impact young people the way organizations and individuals impact my life growing up in Southern California, because we didn't have a whole lot. Mm-hmm. My mom raised 5 of us by herself. We never had a car, walked everywhere. But, the Ontario Parks and Recreation and coaches and stuff really poured into my life. So that's what I wanted to do with young people in this great community. And so we've established an amazing team. It has my name on the foundation, but just like when I was playing with the Bengals, we can't do it alone. We need a team. And so that's been the fun thing, is putting the team together with our staff and interns and board members and our volunteers and, of course, the corporate members that make it possible for us to do things. So it's been a great run, like I said, 21 years, and so we're still going strong. Probably the best, probably the last 2.5 years have been the best out of all the 21.
Wow.
Even going through, COVID and coming out of COVID and, retaining partners and getting new partners back. So it's been a lot of fun, and so we're still growing strong. And, yeah, so that's I waited a little bit. I tell people I waited 8 years after I retired to start the foundation.
Okay. Can you speak about, because you have scholarship funds in the foundation?
Yeah.
You have, camps. You have youth seminars. You have all kinds of different things, things that are kind of related to your background. Right. Yeah. The golf classic, the Hall of Fame dinner. Yeah. All ways that people can get involved to, either donate, financially or donate their time and come help the foundation with these events. Can you speak about, some of those
I sure
things?
can. So first of all, MunozFoundation.org.
Okay.
That will list all the programs. That will list all the volunteer opportunities. And that will give you an opportunity, if you want to donate financially, to go on and donate financially. So we have 8 programs. We work from elementary kids all the way through high school seniors like yourself going off to college. We have a mentoring program where we have K through 5. We mentor once a week throughout the whole school year. And in everything we do with our foundation, we have programs, but we try to build relationships. And we try to reconnect, stay connected with our young people that we work with. So we have the mentoring program from K through 5. They age out at 5th grade. So then from 5th to 8th grade, we have our Unplugged, which is basically another mentoring program, with young people. So we don't want to lose touch with them in middle school. So we do the same thing. And then we have our Whiz Kids, we have our Unplugged, and then we have 2 overnight character camps. We have one in the spring, which is pretty diverse. Actually, we just did that one up in Xenia. It's a 3-day camp overnight. We do teach them a little football, but we do character and team building activities. And Then we do another one of those similar ones in the fall, which is 100% Hispanic kids.
Okay.
So we have those 2 camps, and as I speak about these programs, every young person that is involved with our programs does not have to pay a penny. So we put them up to camp. We feed them 3 times a day. We give them swag. I mean, we give them. So we pay for everything. Our mentoring program, we take care of it. Our 2 camps, and then we have what we call our youth leadership seminar. It's a 1-day event. We're trying to get back to the numbers we once had. COVID kind of took the numbers down, but just like everything else, you reinvent yourself. So we've gotten back in person, but prior to that, we just went virtually. And instead of having 1,500 students at it, we were able to send it out to 3,000-4,000 students. Actually sent the program to my high school in California.
Okay.
We did a lot of speakers virtually. So now we're back in person. It's a full day leadership seminar where we have motivational leadership speakers come in, try to cover pretty diverse topics. And then we have breakout sessions. We have moderators who take the students into breakout sessions and talk about the things they've heard with their speakers. And really, a lot of times talk about things that you might not talk about in high school. And, we've all been there. Mm-hmm. The last couple of years, we've had some speakers come in from the Lindner Center of Hope, which is an amazing mental health facility in Cincinnati, and they really address mental health along with other things. And at the end of the day, we have a challenge. We have our community service challenge, and the students put together community service projects, and we track them. And I pick 2 winners, and I give them some money to use for those projects. That's our leadership seminar. Then we have 2 types of scholarships. You were one of our recipients for the straight A. And thank God we're back to Jeff Ruby's. We took a couple years off with COVID. In 2022, Jeff and his staff said, come on back. So we had straight A luncheon back there.
That was the best. I remember that. I was like, this is the best meal I've ever had in my life.
Pretty good lunch, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So we're back there, Justin. We just had it this last month. And that's 18 scholarship recipients, 9 male and 9 female. That's a one-time scholarship. You bring your most influential teacher, and we get to recognize them, but recognize you as a student and everything you've done. So that's our straight A. And then the summer we have our scholarship fund scholarship, which is a $20,000 scholarship. Okay. Last year was our 20th anniversary, and we had enough to give. Well, I wanted to give 20, and we had enough, but we gave $20,000 scholarships. For seniors going to college.
That's great.
And I'd raised enough to give 20. So this year already, I think we have 8 or 9 in our pocket that we're going to give out. So that's the scholarship fund, and then so those are our programs. And then we do like the dinner and golf. Every June we have a dinner at the Manor House, and then the next day we have our golf tournament, like a lot of people do. The only celebrities I fly in are Hall of Famers. So I think right now I got 7 or 8 Hall of Famers. We've had as many as 15 come in, and then I utilize all my former teammates and Bengal coaches now, and haven't really started to connect with the present-day Bengal players, but in the past we had Whitworth and Huber and some of the guys, and then other guys that are in town. That's our golf tournament. And then this would be we're going to our 4th year. I don't know if you're familiar. I'm sure you are with Top Golf. We have a Top Golf event. It's the Thursday night that the NFL season kicks off. Okay. And Mo Egger does his talk show from there, all 3 hours. And last year was pretty cool because it was the 40th anniversary of our Super Bowl 16 team. So there's still quite a few guys that played on that team that are in Cincinnati. So we had them there, and they got to get on radio and talk a little bit about that game. But that's another one of our fundraisers. We utilize a full bay, about one full level, about 30 plus bays. And it just gives people a fun time to go there and
drive some golf balls,
eat some good food, and we have a few little competitions, some raffles and stuff. But other than that, that's what we do, and it's quite a bit. We have 3 full-time staff. We have some great local college interns that come on board pretty much year-round that get a chance to learn the business, and then I got 17 great board members. I talk about the volunteers. So you can go to MunozFoundation.org, and again, like I said, we have listed all our programs, any volunteer opportunities, opportunity to donate financially. So that's what we do, and I love doing it. This is our 21st year, and we'll continue to do it. See how much longer this old guy has in the tank. So,
do you think that kind of leads into my next question? Do you think that's pretty much it for you, because you're considered one of the best NFL players of all time? You've won a championship with USC baseball in college, which is crazy. You've appeared in films. You've built this foundation. You do interviews and appearances. What is that? Is this kind of what you're doing from here on out, or is there anything new for you? Or
yeah, this is what this is really my passion. Working with young people. Of course, we have 9 grandkids, so they're in sports now. So, my wife and I have a couple comfortable chairs when we have to go to lacrosse or baseball or soccer, but basketball gyms provide the seats. So, but that's just following them as much as we can. Because as those years go by quickly. So yeah, continuing to do the foundation thing. I love doing interviews. I still do a lot of promotional stuff, and then I think there's a little announcement coming up here soon in the next couple of weeks of something else I'll be doing. But then I enjoy playing golf, so that's a good way for me to get out and help others raise money and us raise money. And there's times where I've been playing golf with individuals and they decide to help the foundation financially. So I got some of my buddies that I played with and other guys that I've gotten to know that we golf and stuff. Jim Breaches, we mentioned him earlier. He's an excellent golfer, and we golf a lot together. So for me, I love just doing a variety of things, and I'll continue to do the things I'm doing now.
Okay, cool. Well, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. I love what you're doing with young people. From my experience, I think, your childhood is one of, if not the most important part of your life, because, some people are better at overcoming adversity than others. We're all human. Yeah. Fortunately for me, I just had drive in me. It was just instilled in me to want to do better and do more. But some people, really struggle with overcoming, things that happen to them in their childhood. So you guys really have an impact on people's lives, including myself. Do you remember this?
Well, we appreciate that, and there's times where you just got to encourage. Oh wow! Here, wait. I got. This is interesting because I got to take a picture because I'll be going to the office, and everybody at the office wanted me to say hello to you, and I got to take a picture. All right.
Yep, still got it.
Yeah, I remember that. That was
$2,000 check.
2009.
I think it was was that 13 years?
Yeah, 13
That's hard to believe ago. It's been 13 years.
It's crazy.
So
13 years ago. Yep, I remember that. We're still giving those out. Like I said, we just we didn't have the lunch in there, but we still gave out the scholarships, and we brought them to the dinner in June. Let's say if you would have gotten it this year, you wouldn't have, and we wouldn't have the lunch, and you would have been at our dinner in June. So even though COVID kind of shut us down somewhat, we kept grinding it, man. We kept trying to impact young people and really continue to do the scholarships. So
that's great.
It's fun for me. I mean, it's been 13 years, and all our students that we work with are special, and it's great to see how well you're doing. And
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I've been, kept up it's really cool. I mean, to be in here and to see what you're doing and see how well that you've been doing. So congratulations.
Thank you. I was showing you this because I wanted to return the check to you guys.
Oh, my goodness.
I really appreciate it, and I know that money will go to helping someone else. And, of course, I'll continue to donate monthly as well.
Well, thank you so much, Justin.
Yes, I wanted to do it. I didn't really want to do it on camera, but I want to encourage other people to go to MunozFoundation.org. Your money is going to a place where it's actually impacting people's lives.
Well, great. Well, really appreciate it. We'll keep doing it.
Of course, man. Everyone in the comments, give it up for Anthony Munoz.
Good job, Justin. It's good being with you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
That's awesome.